Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are discussing the film Ayiti, Amour, so let's get into it. Okay, first some background on the film. So Ayiti, Amour is directed by Ayiti. She's a Haitian-American filmmaker, and she's known for her blending of documentary and fiction within her works. The film Ayiti, Amour takes place 5 years after the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, and it follows 3 interlinked stories. The first story is about Orphe, a teenager who discovers he has the power to bring fish back from the dead. The second story is about Jar, a fisherman who is grieving the loss of his wife Odessa. And the final story is about Kenson, a writer whose character Florio escapes his novel and becomes a part of reality. So what are we talking about today? Today, we are talking about how neocolonialism is shown in Ayiti, Amour and how it contributes to the overall message of the movie. First, let me give you a definition of what neocolonialism is. So neocolonialism is when a country controls another country, typically through indirect means. This could be either economical or political, etc., etc. And neocolonialism is shown early on in the film, particularly through establishing shots of a church that is immediately followed by a man that is digging through the trash on the street. And these shots are purposely shown one after another to indicate the wealth imbalance in Haiti, which is a very major effect of neocolonialism and is often something that is shown in films that have to relate to neocolonialism in order to showcase that it is present in a society. So neocolonialism is a really important part of this story because it is the force that fragments the Haitian community in this film. And we can see this fragmentation in the conversation between Orphe and Jar. So Orphe is a person that has grown up in a post-neocolonial Haiti, while Jar is a person who remembers a time before this. And we can see that he remembers this when he tells Orphe that there used to be cornfields in the place where the rich and the white built their houses on the beach. So this conversation is important for a number of reasons. First, it shows an exchange of knowledge between generations. When Orphe first joins the conversation, Jar asks him to finish telling him a story that they were previously discussing, which showcases that Orphe has some sort of knowledge that he is passing to Jar. And additionally, we see, obviously, Jar passing knowledge to Orphe by telling him about the cornfields and a time in Haitian society that wasn't dictated by neocolonialism. This conversation is also important when considering the context of the film. So when Jar is talking to Orphe about the cornfields, Orphe asks him why they went away in the first place. And Jar explains that the cornfields were destroyed by Hurricane Flora. And then obviously after Hurricane Flora is when the rich and the white were able to build their houses in place of those cornfields. So this is important to the film because the film takes place right after Haiti has experienced another devastating weather event. So it's almost a form of warning that Jar is giving to Orphe by saying, hey, this is what happened in the past where we experienced a devastating weather event and the neocolonialistic forces took over. So now that we've experienced another devastating weather event, let's try and keep that from happening again, or for those already existing neocolonialistic forces, let's try and weaken them or not let them have the ability to get any stronger. The final aspect of this conversation that is super important to the film is the fact that it shows how this exchange of knowledge between generations is able to bridge the two together despite having been fragmented by neocolonialism. And this bridge is physically represented in the film by the fact that Orphe and Jar, post exchanging information with each other, are able to weave a net together. So now let's discuss how this conversation adds to the message of the film. Overall, it represents the idea that there is room for both the past and present generations to coexist. And if they're able to exchange their knowledge and experiences the way that Orphe and Jar do in this conversation, they can weave a brighter future together that is not taken over by neocolonialism. Additionally, I believe Florio as a character is someone that really drives home the idea that past generations can learn from present generations because she is technically born in the film when she jumps out of the pages of Kenson's book. What I believe Florio's role in this film is to encourage the audience to look at Haiti through new eyes. So when she goes to the march that is dedicated to those that had died in the earthquake in 2010, she looks at everybody in the audience or everybody in the community with such a brightness on her face, and she's smiling and dancing along with all these people, not because she's happy that this community has suffered such great loss, but because even though there is death in this community and there is loss in this community, she also can see how when they come together, there is a rebirth and there is strength in that. To finish off our conversation, let's talk about how the beginning and ending shots of Orphe really synthesize the ideas that have been shown to us through Jar and Orphe's conversation, as well as through Thoriel as a character. So, in the beginning shot of Orphe, we see him tracing on this line on his wall, and he's tracing in a downwards motion. But at the end of the film, we see him tracing in an upwards motion. And it's this cyclical nature of these shots that I think really drives home and synthesize all the messages this film is trying to portray to the audience, because it's saying that Haiti may go through hardships over and over again, but when this community there is able to bridge the divides between it that have been caused by hardships, they are able to overcome the hardships that they will face in the future again and again, and learn how to stand strong against neocolonialism because they have been strengthened as a community. And that's all I want to share today. Thanks, guys.